Well, today I was thinking about insecurities and why aren't there out securities?
What is the deal with insecurities? All of it's inside.
It's good, right?
Out securities.
I thought it was
That's
good.
just anxiety.
Okay, anyway.
I have out securities about the war.
You've never thought of out securities.
I've never thought because I'm too worried about the insecurities.
Right.
I can't go out there.
I think you're just really blown away by how good that is.
There's too much going on inside.
Whenever I hear just so you know, I do your fucking John Mulaney voice. Just
so you know.
The other day someone was saying just so you know, and in my brain I just go just
so
so
you
you know.
That's
Like,
the,
God
the
damn
theme
it.
of this podcast.
Just
It's
so
called
you know.
Just so you know.
We're
Okay.
recording. Oh my,
Yeah,
your poor
we're recording.
phone.
We're recording.
When did your phone do that? Did you do that out of a fit of rage?
Yeah, this was after I got body shamed.
Shut up.
Yeah. I just slammed it down on the table.
Really?
Yeah, because
That
I was like,
makes-
you fat pig, you can't do anything right. And then I went back into the dressing room and
Did anyone see you
Sold
break your
soap.
phone?
actually I did it in the dressing room when I slammed it down.
Was there one of those fancy mirrors with the ring lights?
No, it was.
Because I feel like a star when I look into those. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is it. This is it.
Yeah, no,
I
it
could be
is-
in like a truck stop bathroom, but if it has those
They
lights,
have
I'm
those
like,
lights at truck stop bathrooms
I know. I've
Yeah.
had moments in those bathrooms where I'm like, am I a star?
on all fours.
Yeah, exactly.
Right behind.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hell of a, oh, did I just?
What? Get glass in your finger?
No, I thought probably I'm going to. Okay,
We're recording.
we're recording.
We should probably do like a quick intro.
Cheers.
We're back.
All right, I like that one.
That's a sober cheers.
Okay. So
I did drink a recess today. Okay, we'll let you do this.
you had a drink today?
No, it's CBD.
Oh,
I'm trying to feel something, you know?
well, we're gonna feel.
I think
a
it
lot
just
on
gave
this
me
podcast.
gas, so I'm
Yeah,
just
it does.
holding it in.
CBD is just
Does it
addictive.
really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does it?
I'm
I was
just
like, oh
spreading
no.
misinformation.
I'm gonna be yeah.
Um,
Anyways,
So I have
what did you write on?
podcast stuff that's gonna be good to talk about on a podcast, and we'll this will be a podcast.
What does that
with
mean? Are
some
they normally not podcasts
Well, there's a lot going on
in the world, in your
the
mind?
last couple of days, and especially in my mind.
Inside your head.
So anybody that's listening, I just want to know. This hopefully will still be
Is
a
anyone
funny
listening?
podcast. Yeah, we have over 12 listeners.
Okay, 12. That's my lucky number. It's
This
weird
is
you
gonna
just said
this
that.
is gonna be a podcast, but I have a rant. I got some things I want to get off my chest.
And I'm sitting quietly for this rant.
You
or
could
what?
you could chime in when you want to.
Is this you typed out your rant?
Yeah.
That's a
I
long
wanted
rant.
to make sure I hit the points.
It's like
that
a
I
wedding
wanted to hit.
speech.
No matter when we do a podcast, we're gonna get heckled by animals. I don't care. This cat's just gonna be here. All right. So here's the problem. My brother is graduating high school this week. Thank God.
Yes, thank God.
Because every time some shit like what happened in Texas this week happens, that's the first thought that goes into my mind is holy shit, it probably could have been Jack. And the scary thing is the only time schools have been safe in the last 10 years was during COVID, because kids were going to school online and the only shootings were happening into a Kleenex. Okay, there was literally nothing else. That was the safest time kids could have been going to school, and nobody thought during that time, hey, we should maybe do something about this.
Did you write the Kleenex bit about in your phone?
It's written down.
Okay. I was like, ooh, a quick masturbation joke.
Because Republicans
So quick-witted.
have made it clear that there is no amount of dead
Yes,
kids
yeah.
it will take to change the laws. When it comes to gun control, Republicans have taken the Anakin Skywalker approach, where they're like, how many is it going to take for us to change the laws? Not just the men, but the women and the children too. I was 3 when Columbine happened. And then for like 4 years after that, up until we invaded Iraq, that's all people talked about. And then Virginia Tech happened in 2007? And then in 2012, at the end of 2012 was when Sandy Hook happened. I was in my junior year of high school when that happened. And it was so bad that we took that Monday off of school because it was unfathomable.
Yeah, you got that. Unfathomable.
We couldn't believe
Normally I'm the one with brain damage that
that
can't
this
talk.
many kids could be killed and have nothing still happen. And then fucking Barack had to go to Sandy Hook afterwards and be like, we have to have there are too many kids who died at this shooting. It's like, dog, you ordered a drone strike on a 16-year-old who was just eating dinner in Syria. There's a larger problem
it's a fair point.
at here. It's not Republicans or Democrats, although I will say Republicans are causing most of the problems here.
What's your background?
It's Martin Luther King watching over a bunch of white kids picking cotton as a black man whips them with the belt. That's my real wallpaper, in case anybody didn't believe me. I'm
really?
serious about that. Yes, that's really what my wallpaper is.
Really
there's
him?
Martin Luther King, and there's 3 white dudes picking cotton, and here's a black guy beating them with a belt.
Where's Martin Luther King?
He's in the clouds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm serious about this
Feels
shit.
a little hateful.
It is.
It's a lot of hate.
Slavery felt.
I know, I get that, but I feel like your subconscious might soak in a lot of that, and it could be bad.
It does. It is bad.
You
I'm mad. I'm angry.
And you should be. I understand that, but maybe just try to breed a little bit more positivity into your
Why?
day-to-day.
Why? Why? What does positivity do? It does nothing. You know what positivity did? It killed Martin Luther King. You know what negativity did? It killed Malcolm X. So you kind of just stuck with all these feelings of being like, how do I change any of this? And then you're just angry, ranting into a microphone, starting a podcast.
All right. I'm going to let you have that, but I was just trying to help guide you with some sort of positivity. I've been trying to work on my subconscious. I think there's a lot in there.
I have been working on my subconscious too.
Have you been?
No, not at all.
There's a lot in there.
10.
It holds on to a lot of trauma that you don't even know.
I'm never letting go of the trauma. 10 people dead in Buffalo last week. 21 dead in Texas. 19 of them children. I mean, when the framers were talking about the Second Amendment, do you think this is what they meant by well-regulated? If the people who wrote the Constitution were alive today, they would look at you and say, "Quiet, woman! Bring forth another slave." Because that's where the equality was there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Second Amendment was there to exist in case a bunch of British soldiers came into your house trying to just post up for a day, and all they had was a musket. We had to fire one of those, and then it would take you till the next war to reload it.
Is that how you reload a musket?
Yeah, you jerk it off. Because every gun is phallic, and everybody that fights for guns has a small dick, and they're holding on to something that's gone. There's no reason for any of us to have guns. Even the people that say we have to have guns in case the government, we don't have to rise up against them. If the government decides they want you dead and you show up with your little AR-15, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
There is no other way to look at this than guns being the issue. Even if you want to pretend it's a mental illness issue, which it is on some degree, they're doing nothing to fight it there either. They're doing more. Last week,
I actually didn't know who it was until you posted him. They didn't really show him around on the.
Good, they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. That's what I'm saying.
Because they shouldn't show shit about this shooter. This kid, we're all supposed to feel bad about him because he got bullied as a kid, and he had terrible clothes, and that's why he went in and shot all these kids. No, I mean, there's a mental illness thing that is disconnecting there, but it takes a village to raise a child, and this kid was able to buy assault rifles right after his 18th birthday. You can't. It's harder to get an abortion in Texas than it is to kill children in Texas right now.
Yeah.
You can kill kids in Texas. That shit's legal and free, apparently.
Do they really
but you can't get an abortion. And there's an NRA rally in Texas this weekend. And you know what they're not letting into the stadium? Guns.
Yeah.
Why? Those are supposed to apparently be the good guys with guns who are going to stop shootings. There was a good guy with a gun in Buffalo. He shot at the shooter, pierced him in the body armor. Guy died immediately. There were good guys with guns in the school in Texas yesterday, and they ran like a bitch away from the shooter. There were cops at the scenes that got their own kids out, didn't even give a fuck about this dude. There was ICE on the scene yesterday. Good guys with guns don't solve the problem. Bad guys with guns exasperate the problem. There's nothing that you can do here other than take away all guns. I'm sorry. There's no reason for anybody to have an AR-15. Not for hunting, not for fighting back against your government, not because your dick hasn't worked since 1989. Nothing. There's no reason for guns. There just isn't.
Right.
I mean, you have to think. There was all these people that were protesting outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house after that leak came with the Supreme Court, and they said that there were, what happened a couple of weeks ago with the leak, with the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
And then people were outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house for a week protesting, and the Senate unanimously voted to change the laws so you couldn't do that. Brett Kavanaugh, CEO of beer and sexual assault, is on the Supreme Court. And he didn't like that people were outside bitching because he wanted to take away people's right to vote. Because Republicans believe you have the right to life and then get gunned down when you're going to school. And I don't have a point to any of this. I'm just angry. Because it's just going to keep happening again. It happened 2 hours ago. They stopped it.
Where'd you see that?
On the news.
What news?
All of it.
I missed that. There was just a kid in a car.
There was a kid in a car outside of a Texas high school in Riversdale who had an AK-47 and a replica AK-47. I don't even know what that means to have a replica AK-47.
They're like breeding more fear with that by sharing that.
You should share that because this isn't going to stop. It's going to keep happening. I'm just saying
now they're not. It's like you're not doing anything. You're just saying that.
I don't know what the solution is.
Right. No one does.
But
apparently.
I know the solution isn't not attacking guns and gun ownership. I'm sorry, it's not at this point anymore. I'm not a constitutional scholar. I proudly graduated at the top of my class with a 1.0 GPA. I don't know what the solution is to this, but I know we have spent years debating on whether or not guns are the solution. And in the meantime that we've debated this, thousands of bullets have killed hundreds of kids in classrooms across dozens of cities in the United States. And this is the only country that this happens to. And we're spending $40 billion to help everybody out in Ukraine. And we haven't even figured out how we're going to stop this from happening here. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm just angry.
Yeah, I saw something about the UK not having any more shootings since
Since 96.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, granted, there's mass stabbings, but you don't kill as many people with a machete as you do with an AK-47, a weapon of war. Not that I
was like, should I move to the UK?
When
I saw that, I was
whatever
like,
the fuck it is.
I think I'm gonna move there.
No, over there they got fucking problems with the Harry Potter kids and shit.
What the Harry Potter kids?
Yeah, the kids from Hogwarts are the ones committing the mass shootings in the UK.
Apparently, there's no shootings though. They said there's been zero.
Not in the Muggle world, yes.
Okay.
But you're not hearing about. You don't listen to the same.
All I saw was one tweet that said there were no shootings, and I was like, well, that sounds good to me.
There hasn't been. Australia got rid of all of their weapons.
No, I've always wanted to live in Australia.
They got rid of all their weapons, I think, in the 90s.
I'm moving to Australia.
But, the problem is in Australia, you can get killed by, a jellyfish fart down there.
That's true. You do have a funny joke about that. It's called the box jellyfish, and it's clear, and it's this big, and it kills you.
Yeah.
You gotta swim in pantyhose to make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
But the spiders will go through the pantyhose, so those won't save you on land.
Yeah, Spider-Man couldn't exist in Australia. You just get bit by a spider and then cancer immediately. Maybe he would have spider powers.
I think he would have better powers if he was bitten by an Australian spider.
He would have better powers, but they would...
He'd been like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it would have been like
he
a
would
collab.
have been a Spider-Man.
Like a Spider Hulk.
Like a spider.
There should be a Hulk Spider-Man collab.
There is a issue where the Hulk wears the symbiote suit. And yes, I've envisioned this several times.
You gotta write your comic book. What would it be called?
My comic book?
Mm-hmm. What would you call your comic book?
Like a comic book about my life or a comic book
You said
that
you
I
wanted to
thought
write
about?
one, so
yeah, I've got a
what's
few.
the one that you would want to write?
I have this idea of a bunch of it's like an underground female ninja sect in Brooklyn, and they are a bunch of human trafficking survivors, and they also study
Taken?
in martial arts.
It's like Taken post Taken.
It's like Taken mixed with Kill Bill mixed with Broad City.
That sounds great.
Yeah, like it's called Lotus, and I've thought about this for years.
Lotus.
Yeah. And
why
that's
Lotus?
the first one. Because Lotus is it's
the flower.
A traditional flower in Tibetan Buddhism.
A lot of girls get it tattooed to the back of their neck when they're trashy yogis.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe that could be something we work in there too.
That's your demographic: trashy yogis who read comic books
and librarians who are on their second marriage.
That's hilarious that this is something you've thought about.
Yeah,
written.
No, I have
written?
a script for this. I've pitched
Why don't you just write it?
I have. That's what I mean by saying I have a script for it.
Okay.
I wrote it.
You have
Called
all,
Lotus.
who's gonna
Part
do
one.
the graphics for it?
What do you mean?
There has to be photos for a comic book.
Like storyboards and stuff?
Like when the like
Yeah,
the
the illustrator.
comic books
I
have.
don't know. I don't have an illustrator yet.
That's all you need, and then you can make it.
I got the story down. I just gotta find a good illustrator to do it.
Yeah.
I want to maybe do it as a movie, but I also think it could be a comic book.
Well, you could always do the book first, then the movie.
Then the movie. That's
That's
the way
how.
to go
That's
about
the
it.
natural progression of a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, that's what they did with the boys. You know that show, The Boys,
No.
on Amazon.
There's a comic book.
I think it was a comic book first, or maybe it was a novel. But either way, they did it, and then now it's like the biggest thing on Amazon.
Interesting.
Invincible is a really good one too. If you ever get a chance, Invincible is like the most.
That's a movie that came from a comic
It
book.
was a comic book that came out by this guy named Robert Kirkman, and he did all the Walking Dead comics. Robert Kirkman hates comic books, but he writes some of the best ones ever.
Weird. That's so weird.
And Invincible was more or less like a parody of all superheroes. And
Who is good at things they hate?
most people, most comedians,
You love
especially
comedy.
ones that have been doing it for like 30 years.
Yeah, but they love it. The love got them to where they are.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
do-
exactly the point. It
You
got
don't-
them to where they
Yeah,
are,
but you don't-
then you can't do anything else.
Oh, then you're trapped in
You're
comedy?
trapped. Yeah, it's like people who get out of Scientology. They've been in Scientology since they were 11 years old, and then they get out when they're
Interesting.
40 and realize they don't have anything beyond an 8th grade education. So it's like, oh, I might as well just go back to the compound. You know, people hate on Tom Cruise, but like, and so do I. But I mean, what's he gonna do?
Yeah, he's stuck.
He's stuck. He's deeply closeted, and Scientology fixed his teeth. Same thing with John Travolta.
Right.
They buried all his secrets, and then they were like, second you start to leave, we got chills
We'll tell everyone that
that
you're
will
gay.
be multiplying. Yeah, that's actually what they say. They don't say it as cleverly as I do.
Right, right.
Like, if you leave, we're going to tell everybody
I don't know,
that you're gay.
Just you're starting
That's
to really,
Scientology.
you were getting a little too in the gray area. I had to make it clear.
You had to pull me back.
Yeah, pull you right
Anyway,
back.
The rant started off, and then we landed. I feel like I said all I had to say.
You did.
I'm sorry.
I
was very.
looked a little
came in very
insensitive
hot.
sitting here quietly, but I care a lot.
No, you do. I'm sorry. I
don't want to just.
I came in
I just
very
want to
hot.
clarify that I care
And I also want to clarify
and that I have a brain.
that before we recorded, I told Tori that I was gonna come in hot, and she didn't
Even
have
though
to
he-
say anything.
You could have done the whole podcast by yourself, as you did already, but you're not sharing it because you
Yeah.
love having me so much.
That's the thing.
You like having someone sit next to you when you rant.
Yeah, it holds
I'm
me.
like an emotional rant animal.
You are. You're my emotional ferret.
Yeah, yeah.
But really,
Ferrets?
it's.
You could have done.
I
You
don't
could have
know why
gone
ferret
any
was the-
animal.
Of what animal
Why
would you rather me say it
I
about?
don't know, like a dolphin or a horse.
Why
an
did you
eagle?
go for dog?
Because it's basic.
Dolphin or a horse?
Yeah, those are majestic.
In what world
Those
are
are
you going to be
majestic.
emotionally in need, and then the dolphin comes up?
Dolphins
helps you.
have
You
saved
can't take
many
a dolphin
lives.
onto
Have you
an
seen
air-
Flipper?
Yeah,
Have you
dolphins
seen?
rape people. Are you
They-
going to be a dolphin apologist now?
gonna
They
rape everyone.
rape people. Dolphins rape people.
All right, then I'll go horse.
Horses?
Yeah, okay, we're done.
Horses creep me out.
Horses are beautiful animals.
They're weird looking.
I grew up riding horses.
You
you
were
know-
a horse girl?
Yeah. You know
Something
this.
about that makes sense.
Yeah. I had a
Did you
pony
have like horses
named
on
Paul.
your binder at school?
It was my locker. I had my pony in my locker.
Your horse was named Paul?
Mhm.
How long did you have him? How long do horses live?
Like 25 years.
Really?
It was really sad. I had to sell him.
Why?
It's like selling your dog. It
You
was
sold
so
them 4
sad.
years in.
I had him for 4
what
years.
age did you sell him at?
I was like 14. I was bullied out of riding horses.
How much can you sell a 14-year-old horse for? I feel like you can't sell him anymore.
I was 14. The horse was 8 when I sold him.
You sold an 8-year-old horse.
Yeah.
Just long enough for him to get an attachment to you.
Exactly.
And
It's
then you
actually
said-
in college was really going through it because college is hard. No one talks about it. But I was eating like enough to kill someone, like a dog, and because that's what I did my freshman year, was eat until I couldn't think. And I sat across my friend and I told her about him, and then I explained the day they led him down the barn aisle and into the trailer where they took him away, and I just sobbed.
That's traumatic.
It was. I can still picture it. It's really emotional. But yeah, it was. I was. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I'm creeped out by horses. That's my problem.
People. So there is this saying: nothing is to be feared. Nothing is to be feared. It's only to be understood. So I think that maybe you don't understand them, which is why you're afraid of them.
No, I understand horses and their importance to.
You've never spent time with them, though. I think once you spend time with them.
No, I have never gone to a movie with a horse. If you're asking if I've spent time with a horse, no, I've never once helped a horse move.
All right.
These are like Dr. Seuss books. If you help a horse move.
This is your next comic book. I'm giving you a great idea.
Yeah, it's gonna. We're back on the saddle.
In it.
In the saddle. In the saddle or
back,
on the saddle?
Back in the saddle.
In the saddle?
Not
you're
on
not
it.
in a saddle.
No,
No,
you don't say
you're
back
on
the saddle. You say
yes,
back
you do.
in the saddle.
No, back on the saddle.
Back
you're not in a saddle.
You are in the saddle.
When you go in a train, you're in a train. You're not on the train. You're not on top of it. You're
I
in
can
the train.
Google this for you right now.
Google it right now and prove me right.
Oh my God.
You're not on the saddle.
You're
not in the saddle. No,
See?
you're not. You're not going in the saddle. You're not going in it. You're going on top of it.
We need one of those podcasts where there's the person that Google things.
Jamie, see if you could pull this up.
Could you pull this up?
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Who is Jamie? Is that
Jamie, that's my Joe Rogan. Jamie, see if
Okay.
you could pull this up real quick. Is it in the saddle or on the saddle? It's one of those weird things, right? Yeah, it's weird. All these horses are walking around doing DMT. All right,
Yeah.
Let's see this right here.
Back
Doing
in
something
the
you should
saddle.
do for a period of time. Back in the saddle.
Back in. See, it's all
That
in.
doesn't make sense. You're
Right.
right. I'm sorry.
Okay. I just wanted to hear that.
You're right.
I'm typing in back on the saddle just to see if anything comes up.
Back on the saddle. Maybe I'm thinking back on the rails.
Back on the racks? Back on track?
On the racks.
Back on the racks comes up.
What?
Apparently that's a saying.
I'm out of it when it comes to my
It's a consignment shop
idioms.
in New Jersey.
Of course. How did I...
That's what you're thinking of.
I was thinking of this consignment shop in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been off the racks for so long. I'm trying to get back on them. Anyway, we haven't been able to record a podcast in a minute. What are you
'Cause
doing?
you've
You texting someone back?
No, I'm putting back on the saddle
Oh.
in because I'm trying to see if
You
to give you a no.
And it goes back in the saddle.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
sorry.
a song
I'm
by
sorry.
Aerosmith even.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I'm back. I'm present.
I'm
I'm not
conceding.
texting during this. Who do you think I am?
I was just being insecure.
As we all are.
You
Out secure.
I don't want you to see my notes because I feel like you're just gonna feel like you're gonna wait for the next question.
Well.
We haven't been able to
We haven't.
record in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because you bailed a few times.
I bailed a few
You
times.
bailed.
You've been on the road. What's going on? What have you been doing?
I was
feel like
in
you've been
LA.
traveling a lot.
Yeah, I
You
was
were
in
LA.
LA for
What were you
work.
doing in LA?
For work. It was actually new hire day, but I used to work there, like 2 years ago
You worked
at this company.
in LA?
The headquarters are out there. The office is
Right.
here in New York.
Okay.
But when they sent out the new hire day email, I was like, does this apply to me? Because on the agenda, it's like tour of the office, which I've been to 5 times at least.
That would be a good name for your podcast.
What?
Tour of the office.
That's
TOR.
funny. There's a lot of words that start with tour, like torment, like tourist, tornado.
Ooh. Tornado.
There's a lot of them. I actually sat next to a copywriter at my first job out of college, and every day he would just look at me and just rack off like 12. And then you go back to work.
12 name puns?
No, just anything with a tour.
Anything with a tour.
Yeah, and there was a lot.
Rip
like every
tour.
day. Yeah, he would do
Yeah.
if it
there's
was
a lot.
in the back of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were in LA
Anyways, I was in LA.
for a little bit, and
For
then
work.
you went
And then I
back home.
then I was in Denver because my friend it was her birthday, and I
Right.
was looking at the flights, and there was a stop in Denver, and I was like, well, how could I fly over Denver and not jump in there? So I surprised her, and this is my friend who is she's not very emotional, and she cried when I surprised her. It was very special. And then I had a meeting in Richmond, Virginia last week, and I stopped in Maryland on my way back. And then I
What
stopped
did
in
you-
Philly, actually. I did a show in Philly. And have you been to Philly?
I've been to Philly, yeah.
I
Once.
I
only once.
honestly, that was my first time. I went in
Yeah.
middle school to see the Liberty Bell, but
Yeah.
going through it, I was like, this is like New York if New York was a third world country.
Yeah, that's how I kind of. I mean,
That's my take on Philly.
I only went to Philly once, and I granted I wasn't there for very long. I didn't get to see a lot of it. I really just mostly saw it downtown. Vinny Brand was recording his album, and he had me open for him down there like a year ago. around this time, and it was nice. I wish I got to spend more time there, just because I don't get to go to a lot of other cities outside of New York. I feel like New Yorkers are so spoiled.
Yeah.
You feel like this is the only way to live.
I was
and it's
scared
very
in Philly.
interesting.
I was scared.
What were you scared of?
Just rape, murder, getting shot. I'm sorry. Is that not allowed?
No, I didn't mean to laugh at that. That was the first thing that came out. What were you scared of? Rape. It's up everywhere. Have you seen the news,
you can never
dude?
be too safe. No, I had parked my car in like a grocery store parking lot. The girl that was hosting.
Did you park it in a no rape zone?
I tried. I honestly should have parked it a little closer to the grocery store, but I parked it in the middle, which is a rape zone, honestly.
Yeah. The middle?
The middle.
The middle is a rape zone?
Yeah, because there's either cars all around, you can get kind of tucked in there. The edges are safe because they're either by a street light or people, whatever. Anyways, I parked it in the middle in the rape zone.
Yeah.
And I remember walking to it, just being like, I better walk fast. I just felt a little unsafe. And then I was just kind of like there was also like a lot of people on motorcycles and like doing like all the trick thing. Like they were like doing the wheel. Like there was like herds of them.
Yeah.
Like
they
multiple
doing,
times.
Like, wheelies?
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah, exactly.
I hate that so
herds
much.
of them.
I don't know why. It turns me into such an old man.
Yeah, I'm just like, that is so unsafe. Like to the point where at one point it was a 4-wheeler. He did it, and then there was like sparks flying from the bottom because he was scraping. I don't even know how he did it. It was like defying gravity. But anyways, I was driving out of there, and I was like, I just want to get home. It was like I left at like 11 o'clock. And drove back to New York this is on Saturday night. And I remember just kind of being kind of sketched out getting out of there. And I was like, this is just scary.
It's all, yeah.
And then I pulled out of the Holland Tunnel and into West Village. And I was like, oh, I'm home. There was like a hot girl on a bike at like 1 a.m. And she was just safe, you know? There was like bodies everywhere. I'm like, and there was like herds of girls in like crop tops just walking alone. I'm like, this is where I feel safe.
That's the beauty of New York.
I literally felt so at home and safe here.
I feel like
just a lot of
first
drunk
couple
girls
of
alone.
months you're here, you sort of feel like anything that's bad that could happen to you will happen to you exclusively.
Oh yeah, I thought I was gonna die on the subway. Yeah, I came from Boulder.
Yeah, and from my first time in Connecticut riding the train in Brooklyn, I was like, this is it. Stabbed.
Every subway ride, I was like, "This, I'm gonna pressure cooker is gonna go off."
Yes, 100%. And weirdly enough, and I know I'm tempting fate when I say this, but I feel the safest when I am on the train, when I'm surrounded by New Yorkers, people who have their eyes and ears open. Mm-hmm. You know, like I mean, I'm not gonna say this guy in Brooklyn who did the shooting a couple of months ago was a bad mass shooter, but he couldn't kill anybody during rush hour, and that's because New Yorkers, even at 8 a.m, are vigilant and they're kind of up. But I also do feel like, because when that shooting happened in Brooklyn, everybody that was taking care of everybody else were all New Yorkers. Yeah, it was New Yorkers who were patching their friends up. That's who's there, and there's a certain level of vigilance. And there have been times where I've come back from road gigs. Like I was in D.C. a few months ago, and it was a long-ass gig, and it was just a long trip there and a long trip back. Yeah, it's fun. And I came back to Penn Station area at like 5 a.m. and just...
Do like a red-eye train?
I did the bus. I did the bus there, and I did the bus back. Because it was in and out, 20-minute adventure, Morty. And when I came back, there was just... a level of dysfunction that I was comfortable with and that I knew how to navigate. People
everywhere.
I don't know how to navigate Philly crackheads. I don't know how to navigate Detroit heroin addicts. I know how to navigate New York in every aspect of that because they don't give a fuck. But anyway, God, I got this. You see this little on my nose?
Yeah, I thought it was from your glasses.
No, it was.
Because that used to happen to me when I wore glasses.
I had this. I didn't bring a mask on the commercial shoot. And I had to wear one of the ones that they gave me on set.
N95.
Yeah, and it just dug into my nose skin all night. 3 days.
Do you want some cover up before you go to the club?
No, I mean if I'm not wearing it for this podcast, I might as well just look like I'm battered.
Honestly, I've been sitting this close to you and it's fine. Yeah. I really just thought it was like a mark from the glasses.
No, I mean it would be like on the sides, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, up here. I don't know why I keep touching it.
Does it hurt? So you're like a
Only when I
nurse
touch
during COVID. You could be like, oh.
I could what during COVID?
You know, like you look like one of the photos that came out
Oh yeah,
during
yeah,
the height
yeah,
of COVID, and it was like, look what they're going through.
I'm gonna use this scar to get some
Yeah.
stolen valor.
That was you just trying to save lives. That's
all. Yeah. I mean, everything.
I stopped wearing a mask though. I flew during all of those travels, and I was one of the mask offers.
You were the mask offer?
I was a mask offer.
here's
Most
the thing.
people were. I mean, the flight attendants even didn't have masks on.
I know, and that's the thing. I know. I haven't worn a mask, to be honest with you, in
I'm not sure if they're coming or going.
4 months. Yeah.
4
Which
months.
bit of that?
That's Paul Revere.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even remember what bit that was. I kept trying to plug that in. I haven't worn a mask like religiously in a few months. I honestly should wear them on the trains, but I don't because
I don't wear them on subways either anymore.
I'm at clubs every single night of the week, and I'm not wearing a mask when I'm on stage, and I'm around.
I'm honestly
arguably more people when I'm on stage than I am on the train. I mean, if I go see somebody that's older,
you'll wear one.
I'll wear a mask because I've never been worried about catching COVID. I've been worried about giving.
You've
it to
had it,
somebody
right?
that can't. I've had it 3 times now.
Okay. Was it bad ever?
The first time was horrible. The second time I got it was right around the time I got the booster, and the third time I got it was like the beginning of April.
Okay.
And the third time I got it, I didn't feel anything other than it was also the same time like I stopped taking Adderall, so like I couldn't tell if it was.
Did you have a prescription? Sorry, is that?
Yes, I did. For any law enforcement listening, I had a prescription Adderall. I definitely had one. My doctor gave it to me. Doctor said, "Troy,
I
you're
won't ask you
unfocused."
any more dumb questions.
And but I had to get off of it because I've been addicted to speed since I was like 16.
Right.
I can't.
I mean, I did have a prescription, and the come down was just really hard for
It's
me.
so hard. There's highs and low
I'd go
lows.
from being like, oh, I'm gonna change the world to like, I would rather not be here.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like if I did it that's exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right. Can I tell you a story?
I'm like laughing at my own joke. That was pathetic.
No,
I need
let
to
me
not
tell you a
laugh
story.
that hard. Okay,
the
I'm
day
listening.
where I realized I had to stop
Tell
taking.
me a story.
I'm gonna tell you a story.
You're gonna tell me a story?
I'm gonna fucking tell you a story that you know all about already, but this is more or less for the audience.
Okay, for the people.
For the people. We're here for nobody other than the people.
Right.
I realized I had to stop taking Adderall the night my grandfather died because my grandfather had been sick.
That's the night that you found out at Greenwich,
yeah.
right?
That's the story I'm gonna tell.
Oh,
I
okay.
know my grandfather was sick for a long time. He was a healthy dude. I mean, my grandfather, my whole life, people always are wondering why I'm obsessed with Star Wars, and my grandfather is the reason why I'm obsessed with Star Wars.
Yoda's Star Wars, right?
Yoda is Star Wars. Yeah,
okay.
that's what's on my
I get
side.
Star Trek and Star Wars really confused.
Well, all you have to realize is Star Wars is what I am into, and Star Trek is for nerds.
You don't like Star Trek at all?
I like Star Trek.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm not a fucking dork about it. You
can't say you're not a dork and be wearing Yoda socks.
Yes,
That's
I
just,
can.
I don't know if that's how that works.
I just did.
You're breaking the rules.
I'm creating them at the same time. When I was a kid, we didn't have cable, and my dad, who was also a nerd, had the original box set of the Star Wars trilogy on VHS.
Were there black people in Star Wars?
There was one.
Okay.
And it was Lando Calrissian.
I just said that because of you said your dad didn't let you watch.
Yeah, I
Is
know.
that true?
I know. Yeah, my dad really didn't let me watch TV shows if those shows didn't have black characters.
Okay, got it.
But I mean, even in the first
not
Star Wars
to fact check your jokes.
No, fact check it. Darth Vader was voiced by
a black person.
A black man,
oh, okay.
James Earl Jones, who was Mufasa.
Like, what is he the one that didn't have a dad or something?
Who?
Darth Vader, or he's the one that said, "I am your father."
Yeah, he's Luke's dad. Yeah. Well, you think because he's black,
Sorry,
you don't have a dad?
I knew there's.
Wow, Tori. Really?
I knew there was something funny about him being black.
Yeah, the funny
thing
was he was voiced by a black man, so he don't have a father.
Anyways, back to your story.
Yeah.
I'm not racist. I
No.
have to just clarify.
No. Yeah. I brought up the one black dude in Star Wars, and you said, does he have a dad?
There was something about the dad and Darth Vader. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, there was.
Back to your story. Your
There was.
grandfather. You're talking
That's
about your
not what you
grandfather.
said initially.
You're talking about your grandfather. Please.
Yeah.
Continue.
My grandfather looks exactly like the first black character in Star Wars. Was played by Billy D. Williams.
Mm-hmm. Twins?
Twins? What do you mean twins?
They look like twins?
My grandfather and Billy D. Williams look exactly
you should
the same.
pull up photos. We need Jamie.
Yeah. No, let me show you.
Do you have a side-by-side comparison photo?
Jamie, see if you can pull this up real quick right here.
My
Hold on.
grandfather
Yeah, let me see what I'm doing.
just have that right off.
I actually do have it on my Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
We got a good side-by-side.
We love a full circle
But
moment
my grandfather.
here. How far you have to swipe back?
Not far.
Look at that. Quick off the cuff with this.
2 more swipes. We're almost there. Buckle up. He did. I still got to tell the story about how he. But hold on.
How you found out that?
Yeah, I'm gonna
died.
edit this around, and
Okay.
it'll
You'll
be
make
smarter.
it quicker.
But yeah, it'll be all in real time, baby. I gotta go back through COVID. Okay, all right. So here's my grandfather.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And here's
Oh
Lando
wow!
Calrissian.
Yeah. I see
he
that.
looks exactly
oh
the same.
yeah.
So when I was a kid,
Okay.
we had The Empire
Will you
Strikes
put this
Back
somewhere
on
for the
VHS. I'll
people?
put it in the podcast for the people.
The people need to see it.
When I was a kid, I thought my grandfather. There he is, back from the dead right now. I thought my grandfather was Lando Calrissian. Anyway, long story short, fast forward. That really had no point in the story.
Yeah, I know.
We went on a sidetrack.
We did. Well, I was really asking about Star Wars, which I'm going to stop.
No, I mean, yeah. No, I asked about Star Wars. It works.
Yeah, but I keep throwing curveballs at you
no,
with
throw
that.
the curveballs. That's what this podcast is
Okay.
there for.
Okay.
This is curveball with Troy Bond and Tori Cole.
Yeah.
My grandfather had been sick for a really long time, and
With what?
he had prostate cancer in like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Got remarried around the same time after he
Wow.
beat prostate cancer.
That's a,
I was his best
I
man at the
love
wedding.
that.
Yeah.
How old was he when he got married?
18 when he married my grandmother.
And then remarried.
And then when he remarried, he was 82.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you like the new
Love
lady?
her. She's a sweetheart. I love her to death. We have the same birthday. My step-grandmother.
When's your birthday?
January 17th.
Right.
Same birthday as the guy who voiced Darth Vader, James
Look
Earl
at
Jones. And Muhammad Ali. And Jim Carrey. And Zoe Deschanel. And, up until recently, Betty White.
You're like an autism person that has all this information off the top of their head.
It's just autism.
Do you think you're on the spectrum?
I am the spectrum. I'm like Thanos. I am the spectrum. He was sick for a long period of time. I go to see him in November. And my grandfather was a really sharp dude. When I go see him in November, he's not there anymore. He's just not. And he's 89. The dude has lived a long, healthy life. He's been through a lot, and his body just sort of catches up with him. I am on stage at Greenwich one night, closing out the show at Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I'm on stage at like 1:30. My dad calls me like 6 or 7 times, and I don't answer. And my phone is on the side of, like Greenwich has that little thing.
Ledge.
It has that
It's
ledge.
a dusty ledge.
Yeah.
You really risk putting your phone there.
And it's vibrating so much I like the audience could hear it. And then like I pick up my phone, I'm like, oh, it's my dad. Should I answer? And everyone's like, yeah, answer. It's dad.
At 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you weren't
okay.
really connecting any dots. Does he
No,
normally
I
call
wasn't
you at
because
that time?
no. And I answered the phone and I had it on speaker and I was like, hello, Dad, it's me. I'm on stage. Anything you want to say? And he's like, take me off speaker right now. And I'm like, oh, what happened? You get caught cheating? And then he just went, your grandfather's dead. And I just went, oh, okay. Well, let me call you back soon. Boop, boop, boop.
It's a real.
And
that's a real.
man, there was just a
mood killer.
There was nothing in the crowd. And then that was 2 minutes into my set. And I just had to take all of that and compartmentalize it and put it in the back of my head.
You
and
kept going?
That was 2 minutes into my set. I did 18 minutes after that.
Do you feel like you're bulletproof after that?
Well, it was the Adderall that I took before I got on stage.
Now I see why you're telling the story.
And then when I got off stage,
I
was still processing everything, and I was heartbroken, and
Right.
I was upset, and I just lost my grandfather, and I was the time I was spending on stage performing was more or less the time I took to grieve, because I didn't really grieve or cry at all. Because
Ever?
No, not
To this
really.
day?
To this day.
You don't think that
I
ever, like,
cry
one day you
in
might just have a
moments,
moment
but-
where you just break down?
Yeah, there's definitely times like that, but it was more or less because of the amount of Adderall I was taking, and also because I am a working comic. It more or less became a fork in the road of where I could spend 20 minutes about my set talking about what my grandfather meant to me, or I could spend 20 minutes giving these people a show that they paid for. And I went with the latter. Then I got off stage, and I took about 60 more milligrams of Adderall at like 2 in the morning.
60?
And then I just stayed up all that night. I took it because I knew it wasn't going to make me feel anything. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to feel shit. But then the downside of that is then I was just home staring at the wall.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel happy. I couldn't feel sad. I just felt nothing. And then I was like, God damn, this is probably not the way I should go about it anymore.
Right.
So maybe I do need Adderall, but because I'm a drug addict and I've been off cocaine
Well, you're
for
no
almost 2
longer
years.
a drug addict.
Yeah, but
clarify.
you have to remind yourself that you are.
Yeah, but you're not currently using drugs.
no,
Right. It's,
no.
You know, just
Yes.
so the people know.
So the people know. But
Just setting, you know.
yeah, no, it just more or less became a thing where I had to go on the same rediscovery
Right.
that I did.
But the come
when I got
down
off coke.
was really bad.
Well, the come down
After-
was my birthday show at Broadway the next day, and it was the first show that I produced ever.
So your grandfather
My grandfather
died,
died
and then,
Friday, and then Saturday was my first show.
Are you still producing a show at Broadway or no? Because weren't you? And then you
Not
weren't.
since then.
Okay. Well, you did. Well, you were gonna do the one
I've
in
done a couple.
February, and then you're like,
Yeah.
you should do it. And then you're like, never mind.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I had
okay.
to go do DC. But anyway, say all that to say, self-medicating is never the right way to go about it.
Totally. No, I've actually
In any
learned
capacity
the
of
hard way
life.
many times
It's
where I've
not the way to do it.
used
And anytime
something.
I've told myself that I could do it in a way and cut it off, it's not true. And
Have
it's
you
always
heard
better
the?
to reach
Do you
out
like
to
Big Sean?
professionals. Yeah, of course.
He has that lyric in "Living Single,"
Yeah.
where his short-term
I think
fix
I'm ready
breaks
to
everything
jump.
else.
What was the quote?
The short-term fix that breaks everything
Yeah.
else.
No, it
I
is.
love that
It
line.
is. And
Really, he really has a way with his words. Yeah.
But you
Single
have
again? No, it's living
been
single.
not
drinking.
drinking.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you feel like you're better than me?
Yeah. You're here and I'm like at least.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
up here.
I'm on
How
my
do you
high
feel?
horse.
How many days has it been?
59 today.
Really?
Yeah.
2 months.
2 months.
basically. Do you feel different?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel well, one thing, like physically I feel better. Like I sleep like a baby.
Really? You
Like
just
I-
go home and sleep.
Yeah.
You
I
just you can lay down
zonk
and pass out.
Yeah,
You
pass
don't
out.
watch TV before you go to bed. You just lay down.
I'll
in the
scroll on
darkness.
my phone, which I try not to do, and I've been reading a lot more, not drinking. But I sleep through the night. Like when I drink, I would have just shitty nights of sleep, or like I used to wear that fitness watch, and it literally would tell me, like I have that. It's a little bit of a hacky joke, I know, but I say like last night in my sleep I died. So it says,
Right,
like my
yeah.
watch literally says that, like from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. you had no pulse. Like literally, anytime I drank, it was like my sleep quality was in the shitter. So I'm sleeping like a baby. My jawline is finally making a comeback. Like literally.
Let me see. What do we got? Yeah,
Yeah.
look at this. Look at this. Look at that jaw. Look at this.
Come on in.
We got Jay
Yeah.
Leno on the podcast over here.
Honestly, it used to like really disappear when I drank heavily. Like it would just.
Was that
swell up.
misogynistic what I just did?
No.
Just giving you a jaw check. I was
That's
trying to be
fine.
supportive.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I felt
Yeah.
very supported. That's been exciting. Like literally, like it's coming back. Like
What do you?
I get so swollen
and
when I
that's
drink.
just from not drinking because of
Mhm.
sugar, right? And
Everything,
else? Yeah.
just the calorie, sugar. In terms of like weight loss overall, I haven't really lost weight because I at first I was eating a lot of cake and stuff because I was
Yeah.
like I need to feel
the
something.
sugar cravings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
real.
it's a
I ate
motherfucker.
a lot of cake.
Anytime
at
I'm not
first.
drinking, I am buying like pounds of
Mhm.
Reese's cups or Swedish
Also,
fish.
it's like you just want that dopamine spike. Just
Mhm.
something quick to make you like. It also was like something like that's like, ooh, this is bad. I'm being bad.
But I will take the candy dopamine spike over the drinking dopamine
Totally.
spike.
No, well,
any
what
day
I've
of the week.
learned with not drinking, I've read a lot of books now. I've read The Unexpected The Joy of Being Sober by Catherine Gray. Great book. Highly recommend. And then I'm currently finishing Quit Like a Woman, which is really popular right now. It's like pretty mainstream. A lot of people are reading it.
There's the one that I read called, it was by Alan Carr.
Alan Carr,
He wrote too, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking and The Easy Way to Stop Drinking.
Exactly. And I've read that before.
I
but
read both, and both times I was like, this is bullshit. But then I realized, like,
it's pretty real.
yeah, no, it's
well,
pretty
what
real.
happens is you kind of learn that it's like the Santa Claus effect. Like, you realize it doesn't actually bring joy. On the other side of it is just depression and sadness and anxiety. But we've been groomed. Like, I've been drinking heavily since I was 14 years old. Like,
Right.
it was like the thing to do.
You
like
were working at the steel mill then, right?
Yeah. And actually the mine.
The mine.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing double shifts.
Yeah.
Steel mill, then the mine, or mine, then steel mill?
Mine then steel mill.
Mine, then steel mill.
I was putting Everclear,
Yeah.
just grain alcohol into my like Cokes and headed to work. But anyways, I was really getting after it growing up, and it was like so glorified. Like, woo, this is how you socialize, this is how you party. And it was just at the core of everything I did. My dad, I remember being like, Tori, like, alcohol's poison, but he was like holding a Heineken, telling me this, and it's like, you're like, okay, sure. But then it's like you start to learn more about it. You're like, holy shit, like, not to sound like a fucking narc, but it is poison.
It's literal poison.
It's ethanol. And it's
no, it's poison that we're putting in ourselves.
So I've been really fascinated by just learning. And also, like, so you're as a human, you have a baseline, and alcohol pulls you up, and then on the other side of it, when the come down is, it's like, take whatever you went up by and then double it on the other side, and that's the down. And I'm just so glad that I found this new baseline that I could hover around. And I get like happy and sad, but like I'm not plummeting and rising the way I used to. And also I was really using it for comedy aggressively. Like, I would like take shots before sets, and it was kind of this short-term fix that got me by, but I'm kind of relearning who I am and how I want to be on stage.
Do you think you're done
forever?
Yeah.
It's hard the longer I go the thought of going back. Like, it's like, do I really want to break my clean slate right now? And learning, just the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, this really brings no value. Like, I'm a social person and I don't need it, and I think I'm grateful and fortunate for that. Some people really do suffer socially and they use it as a crutch to get by. But I'm learning that I'm a better person without it. Like, I got invited to Hawaii.
More conscious person.
Yeah, like
You got invited to what? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I got invited to Hawaii.
Right.
And my friend got like an all-inclusive. She works for Zoom, and she got into like the champion circle for an all-expenses-paid trip to Hawaii. And her boyfriend works for Zoom, so luckily he couldn't go because he didn't make it. So
thank God.
Insert me. And I was gonna tell her, because she asked me a few weeks ago, and one of my first concerns was, oh shit, like, am I gonna go to Hawaii and not drink? Like, I've always been also her like ride or die like party friend. And I was going to say to her, by the way, I'm sober if you wanted to bring someone else. And then I thought, fuck no, like, I'm still me, and I'm still going to be fun. So that's the friend that I surprised for her birthday. So when I was with her, I was talking to her, I was like, yeah, I'm going to try and I'm not drinking. And she was like, honestly, I think that's like, you're going to be better. And it was really cool. Just her visceral reaction to me not drinking was that I'm going to be a better person. And that's also really enlightening to who I was when I was drinking, in a way. And I think my mom told me I'm a social alcoholic, which I thought was interesting. I'm like, I don't even know if that's
sounds
a
like your mom
term.
Was enabling you.
Well, she was during the pandemic, that's for sure. We were going through cases of wine.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't even know if that's a term. I actually haven't Googled it, but I was like, that's true though. Like, when I'm in social settings, like, I'm not going to stop until the last person like falls over, and I'm going to fall over with them. Like, I'm right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've
no, you are the person who is like,
I'm not
whenever somebody's leaving, you're like, where are you going?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Come on,
shot.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. What are you come on, we're doing shots. And like, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Those are the memories that I have for the rest of my life.
Totally.
But I do feel like there's a moment that happens anytime I've ever felt like I've had the question, am I drinking too much? I 100%
Yeah.
And it's and the only reason I'm feeling that way is because I'm like, I am using this as
right.
a way to say things and do things
totally
that I wouldn't do if I weren't
right.
sober. More like, in social situations or whatever. And to your point of the tax that you pay afterwards.
That's why I stopped.
I
paid some heavy taxes.
It's heavy tax.
I woke up feeling like garbage.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that where mindfulness meditation. We've been in conversations with headliner comics, like some comics that we really love and appreciate and respect. Whenever I talk to comics who are 20, 30 years older than me in the game, and that's the crossroads where it comes to like their drinking and mindfulness meditation, I listen so carefully because
who were we talking to at one time?
I don't want to say their name, but you can pretty much summarize who it was. But it's more or less a crossroads of we are working so much in an industry that is contingent on the approval of other people, and it's not healthy, and it's not really something that you should pursue, but we're in it, so we got to buckle down and decide what we're going to do to keep it going. And where mindfulness meditation plays such an important part in that role is when your arm hurts or any part of your body hurts, you do stretches to make it stronger and to deal with the pain that you're working at. And for whatever reason, I'll tell you what the reason is. It comes from when it comes to our brain and it comes to our mental health, we actively have to disassociate from all of the hurt in the world consistently because we were never programmed. Our minds weren't programmed to handle this much information.
Yeah.
Every single time we pick up our phone, there's 10 new shootings. There's 15 more police brutalities. There's 2 new global outbreaks that are happening with the disease. And us as humans, we can't process it. If our brains were computer chips, that shit would be crashing every 5 minutes.
That's a really good point you're making.
And I feel like we drink and we do all these things outside of ourselves so we can focus on something that's social and be with it with other people that are dealing with the absurdity of life.
But you're really numbing a lot.
You spend more time with yourself than you do with anybody else. Yeah. And the second you start to tap into the crutch of I need this so I can do this, you end up just putting yourself in a feedback loop that doesn't get corrected until you're able to step outside of yourself. And this is why I say meditation is so important, because when something's wrong with our bodies, we go to a physical therapist, we go to a doctor. What happens when something's wrong with our brains? We don't do what we're supposed to. We drink,
we go for a run.
We do drugs, we go for runs, we do all this shit.
Yeah.
We don't take stock in saying, hey, maybe I need to be a better person to myself. Maybe I should be a better friend to me, because we don't live in a society that dictates that, because we have grown so far in technology over the last 20 years that we think we're all talking about the same thing because we're staring at our own phones. But really, when you look at things like the opioid crisis, where people are dying by the hundreds every day, and you look at the areas where they're dying, it's in places like Kentucky and Utah and Oklahoma and all these places outside of rural cities where it's just people butting heads with people, personalities bumping heads with other personalities that are just in despair. We don't feel like there's anything left for us, so we say we don't have any friends, we don't have anybody to talk to. We have a drug and we have a drink that we can put down and bury that, and that's going to be how we get through this. And that's why we're at the point we're at now. Do I think that there's a way to come back from this? 110% we are. We came back from COVID.
Yeah.
Something that made us all go in our homes and we couldn't be around people. We came back from that.
I think we have a lot more trauma from that than we even are aware of.
Yes, 110% we do. The after effects of COVID, dare I say, I know there were millions that died from it, but the after effects of COVID did more damage than COVID itself. We still don't know because we're still living through it.
Right.
And the most important thing that we have is each other. That's really all we have. We have to go out of our way to be around people. That's why whenever I'm hosting, and I know you give me shit when I say it, but that's why I always say whenever I'm hosting, thank you for supporting my comedy.
I love
because
when you say
it means so much.
No, it's really, I laugh at it because it's so genuine the way you say it. And
it's
I find,
probably
I don't know why I find that so funny. Maybe I'm like afraid of genuine things, but
maybe there's that, but
maybe
also
I have
like
my own unpacked trauma, but the way you say it, it's so sweet and genuine. It cracks me up.
It's an important thing to remind people that's what they're doing actively, it's weird that we're doing this. It's so weird.
That we sit and stare at someone on a stage?
Yes. And there's people that keep doing it night after night, selling out clubs for a reason.
Yeah.
Because people need it. We need each other more than we need anything else right now. There's probably going to be 3 more mass shootings by the time we record this next episode. It's just the way the world works now. It sucks, but it's just the way. That's
Hopefully
the
we
reality
record next Wednesday. If
We
not
will.
Sooner.
But the problem is,
Well, by on our recent cadence, yeah, there's gonna be 12.
we've got everybody's just alone. Kids come home from school and their parents are at work and they're in front of the computer and they're in front of their phone all day long, wondering why does nobody love me? Why do I not get any attention? That's why they go to schools with a machine gun and kill all these kids. This kid that killed all these dudes in Texas.
He's probably on his phone all day.
He was on his phone all day, and he also told everybody that they bullied him because he had no clothes and because he
had an iPhone 13 in your place, you said.
And there's a easy way to say this kid had an iPhone 13. What the fuck was he worried about? But he probably gathered up all his resources to have an iPhone 13 because his phone before that was an iPhone 12 or whatever, or it was a flip phone, whatever the fuck. He based his life and what he was worth on the opinion of the material value that everybody else judged him on. And I don't know what.
Which we all do.
In the head. This is the same thing that happened in Sandy Hook, where this kid hated his mother and he killed his mother, and then for whatever reason decided to kill 18 kids. This kid in Texas did the same shit, and I don't know what the problem is, but I know the solution is human contact. Mm-hmm. It takes a village. It does. I'm sorry, and I know that sounds very cliche, but it's human contact.
Not feeling alone.
People being around people,
well,
especially when you feel.
I think I've told you this. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that was cut me off.
Okay, no, you're good. No, they say that the number one biological need is air,
right,
and the number one psychological need is to be understood. That's like a fact. I remember hearing that the first time I heard it, I was like, what? No, that's not what you need. There's no way. And then the more I've sat with that, the more I've really realized how true it is. Feeling understood, feeling seen. If you think about comedy, it's like your jokes don't hit unless they're understood. You can't connect with someone unless you're understood. And I think that's really what we all need, is that connection through that. And that's the number one psychological need. It's just fascinating to really think about, to really sit with that and to understand it. I don't know.
That's the point of this podcast.
I actually think you made some, I got a little, not teary-eyed, I'm not going to admit that, but it was really good, what you just said. Truly.
I believe it. I
got emotional.
Don't think that there's any other solution to this than getting closer to the strangers in your life.
Go out and hug a stranger.
Well, don't do that because they might have a gun. But, ask him how his day was.
There we go.
It costs nothing to be kind, and this is what I'll end the podcast on today. I feel like I say this to you all the time, how it costs nothing to be kind. Because you just be kind to someone, and it honestly costs more to be an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks ago, I was coming home from Broadway. It was a late set. I got back to Queens at 1 a.m. I walked up to the halal cart and I was like, "Yo, can I get a falafel with rice?" And he was like, "Nah, well, I'm done for the night." And I kind of blew up on the guy. I had a couple of drinks. I was upset. I was hungry. He still had his lights on.
You were hangry?
What the fuck? You were
feed me.
Yeah, I was. Feed me Seymour. Feed me falafel. And then maybe 5 days ago, I walked up to the dude.
You gave him $12.
Well, I said, "Hey, can I get a falafel over rice?" I didn't think he'd remember me, and he was like, "Yeah, of course." And by the way, I just want to say I'm so sorry.
Shut
I
up.
told you that we couldn't do anything else. It was the last order of the night, and I really didn't have anything on there. I'm so sorry, brother. What else do you want tonight? And I could have weighed 2 pounds at that point. I felt like such a piece of shit. Because this has been 2 weeks since I'd seen that guy since then.
This is a beautiful story.
And he was like, "I'm so sorry that I turned you away that night. I felt like absolute shit." And then I felt like absolute dog shit afterwards because this guy
He's thought
had
about
remembered me and thought
and
about it.
he sat with that.
And I thought about it and sat with it too, but I thought about it and sat with it every
For
time I
2
walked by it,
seconds.
like in the way of being an asshole,
Like, fuck
being like,
that
fuck
guy.
you, yeah, every time. And then he was like, I'm sorry I wasn't there for that. And then like, he was loading up my falafel with all this other shit and like hooking me up with lettuce and
You tip him
doing
really
everything.
nicely?
And I gave him like $15 for a $6 falafel plate, and like the dude was about to start crying. But like I will say this. I only tipped him that much because I felt so guilty and I was going to start crying when he said, I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you. Like, this guy is there working all day
Yeah, in
and
a
all
cart.
night,
and
I was
you
so
rolled up like a
mad.
dickhead.
Yeah, I rolled up at the last minute acting like he was the problem for not supplying me. And he bent over backwards to apologize because he did that. And that was what this just happened like 5-6 days ago, and I was like, Jesus Christ, it costs nothing to be kind, but it costs everything to be an asshole.
There you have it, folks. That's good.
That's my message today.
Be a good person.
Well,
As best you can.
Best you can. There's no
That's
good
good.
people or bad people. There's just people that do good or bad things.
Apparently kids are born without the ability to be bad, and then they learn it.
That's not true. I've seen many cases of kids
that
are demon
I think
spawns.
they learned early that they something,
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say
apparently they're born without.
I don't want to hit the kids. I want to hit the parents.
Anyways, that's that. All right,
I feel
that
like
was
we
good.
covered a lot of ground on this.
We did. I'm excited for you to share what you said.
There's not a lot I have to edit.
I don't know if I said anything that great, but
I'm
what
sorry
you
if
said.
I was talking at you this whole podcast.
No. I'm emotional right now. Like, I think you made so many good points. Because today I personally experienced scrolling mindlessly on my phone, being kind of alone. Like, once my roommate left, I was just kind of like, all right, I'm home alone. I love being alone. This is great.
Right.
But I was just kind of like, what am I doing? Like, I think when you sit alone and you're on, like you said, we have too much information at our fingertips, and I think it's to a fault.
We have too much information and not enough resource to change it. And it just makes us feel hopeless. But we're not hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
We have each other. I'm sorry. That sounds very lame.
No, it's true.
It makes so much.
That's in my book right now. The Quit Like a Woman. All we have is love.
Quit like a woman.
That's it. That's all you have. Because if you think about life, you're just supposed to be here to have fun. What else are we doing here? You could kill yourself if you're not having fun.
What is hate
and
if not
if you're not having
love?
Yeah, exactly.
Did that sound as deep as I thought it did?
No, it sounded ass backwards, but whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, the point is,
love, but not
be a good
misguided
person.
hate. Is that
love
what it is?
Tell everyone that you love them.
Tell everyone you love them. Tell them to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. And maybe don't drink alcohol.
Maybe.
Welcome to AA.
Or maybe not. And if you got to drink to get through the day, do it.
But it's going to be bad on the other side. That's
if you're
the
gonna
problem.
shame,
You'll feel good for like 5 minutes and then you'll bad for 10.
If you're going to shame anybody, shame yourself.
No, be nice to yourself.
And
You're
not
saying
18
that.
fucking kids that are in a school in Texas.
Yeah, if you want to shoot someone, don't.
If you want to shoot someone, shoot yourself. That wasn't the right thing to say.
That was
either.
not, but it was. I mean, it's true. But before you shoot someone else,
if you think about shooting someone else, shoot yourself.
We're gonna get canceled.
Because I'm running out of.
Our theme. Our theme is that we want to get as close to getting canceled as possible.
As close
I
as you
think
can.
that with that final statement, we did our job today.